So hello everyone, I hope you guys are having a fantastic day today. And today I want to talk about the Xbox Series S. Now, I've had this console for around 6 to 7 months at this point, almost 8 I think. And I did post my 1 month review of the device, but in this video I want to give an updated long-term review because frankly speaking, my opinion on this console has quite significantly shifted, and it's honestly become my primary console of choice even over the PlayStation 5 that I have. And I just want to talk about it mainly because I'm heading off to vacation soon, and I was actually considering using this console or bringing this console along with me for the ride. So yeah, in this video I just want to give you guys my updated thoughts on the Series S, and without further ado, let's talk about it. So first, let's talk about the console itself, since I have it on here unplugged. And one thing that really hasn't changed about my enjoyment or my opinion on the Xbox is the compact nature of it. I mean, this thing, in all intents and purposes, is extremely small and really good for on the go. And this has actually proven to be extremely useful for me because I've been tending to hang out with a lot with the buds recently, and a lot of times they do have Xboxes, but we play a lot of games that don't support split screen. So being able to just carry this along in a small backpack is actually really good. It's surprisingly a lot more travelable, if that makes sense. And for on-the-go gamers, like, this is a fantastic console to bring along to play whatever types of games you are. It's basically the main reason why I'm considering bringing this to the beach next week, just because I miss having a console, to just play at nighttime, and if I have nothing else to do at the beach at nighttime in the hotel rooms. So honestly, definitely a big plus. I love how small this thing is. So yeah. Up next, I'm gonna go ahead and plug this in now, but let's talk about gameplay and performance, and I guess like just the day-to-day nature of it. Because honestly speaking, I was a lot more pessimistic in my 1 month review just because I've been having that huge PC performance mentality mindset. But honestly, like, from just laying back on the couch and playing games, for the most part, like, any game I throw at this, I really can't complain, and that was something I was not expecting. So I'll explain later as we go into it. So alright, so I got everything set up here real quick, and one thing I love about consoles and something I miss is how easy they are to just set up and play. Let's go into the games and just the gameplay performance. So first of all, I do want to bring up Persona 3. I always bring this up, but this is a pretty good example of a game that works perfectly fine on any system. So no matter what you play or where you play, something like this will play fine regardless. So picking up a system like a Series S just for this type of game is completely viable. So as we're going through here, you can see that we're playing it at basically 60 FPS. Performance-wise, just completely fine. 1080p for the most part. And on this 1080p monitor, it works fine. And yeah, I mean, like, the experience playing this game on here versus the PC performance-wise is basically exactly the same, but you have the luxury of being able to play this game on the couch. Something I've come to realize a lot when playing this was really how much or how limited playing on the PC is in terms of like where you can play it compared to a console. And it's not like a PC you can't just hook up to a TV, but for just like a plug and play experience and a experience that works very well on a controller. In general, I don't think Windows can beat like any console OS in terms of just the controller laid back experience. Just wrapping up the Persona 3 gameplay here. I noted this in my earlier video, in my Xbox Series S video, but like, these types of games will run perfectly fine on the Series S. And that opinion hasn't changed for these types of games. I think it'll be fine with a Series S. I think a Series S is a fantastic console for these types of games. But I now want to talk about some games that I said that I wouldn't enjoy, or I thought I wouldn't enjoy, but I ended up having no issues. So just to recap, right? A couple of months ago, when I did do my Series S video, I noted how I wasn't really thrilled to play games like Remnant 2 or, let's say, Avatar, Frontiers, or Starfield. These types of games that do have limitations performance-wise on the Series S versus something like a PC. And it was something that I heavily emphasized as a big negative. But as I started to actually playing these games just as a try and see kind of deal. Honestly, I don't notice these issues as much as I thought I would. I thought I would be a lot more pessimistic and a lot more critical in noticing these, but from a gameplay to gameplay perspective, when you're just chilling out and not in the zone, these types of games at the frame rates and limitations that the Series S unfortunately has is still completely playable. So let's first talk about Remnant 2. This is one of those games that does have a limitation and does run worse on the Series S versus a PC, quite substantially so. All right, so now we're booted in here, and as you guys can see, at least if you can, the big con of playing this type of game on the Series S versus like a PC or even a Series X is you're basically locked at a 30 FPS. And for me specifically, I've been so used to 60 FPS games for the past couple years just because I've been playing on PC. I thought that I was going to hate the 30 FPS limitation, and I thought it was just going to be unplayable for me. But, you know, going through it, and when I was just, you know, laying back and just playing through it as I would on a controller, I honestly did not notice much of a difference in terms of like gameplay. Now, that's not to say that there is a visual difference. Oh no, there's absolutely a difference in terms of performance. You will feel the frame rate be a lot worse on this, especially in comparison to like if you're used to playing PC frame rates. But overall, that's not to say that this game is unplayable on the Series S. And especially for people who just don't care about playing or frame rates or anything like that, like the majority of the console population, this is completely fine. I was kind of shocked. Even for someone for me who does not enjoy playing 30 FPS games, like I don't enjoy playing a lot of Switch games that are 30 FPS, but like when it comes to just like gaming on the couch and, you know, just chilling out with the buds or whatever, or maybe you're just laying back, maybe it's like 9 p.m. at night and you're just playing a game to chill out, relax, playing out these frame rates or these resolutions is completely fine, and you probably won't notice the major difference unless you're someone who's extremely nitpicky and are super used to playing on PC. That was a pretty big discrepancy compared to my 1 month review. I said before that I thought I wasn't going to enjoy these types of games on the Series S, but honestly, from a controller and just a casual player's perspective, these games just play perfectly fine. I have no issues. Oh, I'm about to die. Going through it, just like playing these games, I honestly had no issues. And honestly, like, I changed my mind. I think I'm a changed man. I'm never going to be a huge hassle when it comes to performance on these types of consoles, because under the impression that you're going to be playing these on the couch and performance is not going to be something that you need to worry about, I'm completely fine with it. So yeah, anyways, let's go ahead and play a different type of game here. So let's go to First Descendant. Now, First Descendant is kind of the opposite problem compared to, say, like the Remnant 2, where you can change the frame rate to 60, but it significantly reduces the quality of the image on the screen. But for me specifically, I have no issues playing at crappy resolutions as long as the frame rate, like for me, I prioritize frame rate over resolution. It's mainly like the perspective of how you play these games, right? Like when you're on a desk and you're playing on the PC, you expect the game to at least look decent with the hardware you have. But when you're playing on a console or you're playing laid back, these types of things don't really matter as much. And that was something I didn't account for when I was making my video. And you can see here that this game runs buttery smooth for the most part. It's just the visuals don't look that good. But when you're talking about visuals, that's very nitpicky for the majority of gamers. You probably won't notice a difference, or you probably won't be bothered by differences in performance or visuals unless it's noticeable, like it's very, very bad or unplayable. But like this is completely fine. And I said previously like that as a secondary console, this was completely fine, but I didn't see it as a primary. But, you know, playing through more and more games, as a laid-back casual gamer's perspective, this can easily serve as a primary console. And the biggest pro for that is mainly the price. I mean, the Series S at $250 bucks, is incredible value, especially compared to like the PS5 or Series X, which often go for 400 to 500. And especially if you live in a third world country, these things going for like 700, 800 bucks. If you're someone who just does not care about the exclusives or does not care about performance at all, playing like games in general on the Series S is a completely valid purchase. And honestly, like, I would highly recommend it for most people, honestly. Like, this is honestly the best console that you can buy just because of the price point. Now, obviously, you still have those issues with like being digital only and all that stuff, but let's be honest, the casual gamer and the majority of you guys are probably going to be playing Call of Duty and Fortnite anyway. So for these specific games, and even more so, you'll be completely fine on the Series S. And even if there is performance difference, like playing at 30 FPS versus 60, or playing at 720p versus like 4K on the Series X, the majority of gamers probably will not care as long as they're able to play the game. So yeah, I mean, as we're going through here, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. I gotta say this, my insight on the Xbox Series S has just drastically changed compared to my one-word review, and that's probably because of how I treat the console versus what I did before. Instead of like a companion device for my PC, I instead treat it as what it is, which is a console that is designed to be cheap and provide you a next generation gaming experience where you can still play all these modern games, even if the frame rate and resolution and fidelity is not up to snuff. The vast majority of gamers will not care, and I think for a console experience, this is easily, in my opinion, I think the Series S is probably the best console. And basically that's mainly because of the price point, but also because it plays the games that a lot of people tend to just play with their buds nowadays without any issues, like Call of Duty, Fortnite, even like First Descendant here. And like a lot of the Game Pass library just runs completely fine on this type of system. And for that reason, I think instead of a secondary console recommendation, I can confidently say now that I can highly, highly recommend this console as a primary. And if this is your first Xbox console, your first console in general, you will not regret it. This is a fantastic little box that you can carry around everywhere you go if you want to travel with it. And the performance is sufficient enough where you can still enjoy the modern games, with the exception being like Sony exclusives or Nintendo exclusives. But yeah, anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video on kind of like a second look into my Series S and why I've been thoroughly enjoying it a lot more than I expected. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up here. If you did, make sure to leave a like, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Later.